by Gaio. Kurt gets it back and stuffs it home. He's down by Gandalf, wins it back. Wangster with a shot. Reimer with a clutch save.
Rock, paper, scissors,
Kurt taking another shot past Halo on the top side.
They're calling you Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad, bro. Cook my science, bitch.
Stealth Kenny fish into Cubs. The one-timer he scores. Oh no, Gandalf with an own goal.
Hello! Another good start to an episode. Hey everybody, we're here and we're on time today. Today's guest, he's very friendly. He started as the best goalie in the ZHL. Now he's the best defender in the ZHL. The resident guitarist for Zealot hockey content creators. He's always ready to lend a hand. He's the only gorilla born in Jane and Finch. Please eat your Doritos, drink your Mountain Dew Code Red, and go banana for your friend and mine, the chocolate chimp of defense, Rennie Guerrila Jivan.
Thanks for having me. That's definitely my last name.
For sure, 100%.
Very accurate.
Checked Facebook.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's great to be here finally. I think I've been wanting to be on the show for a while, so I'm sure you guys want me to. Yeah,
Of course we did, dude.
Of
I mean,
course.
you know, the Guerrilla Reimer love feud is just, you know, it's very well known in Zealot hockey, so I'm happy that we could finally get you two together on screen.
Yeah, I mean, I know Reimer and Bruce had their moment last episode. I got a little jealous.
Of course,
Let's be
yeah.
honest.
What a moment. What a
Yeah.
moment.
Lots of moments.
Very, very. That was a Cubs top 5 plays moment. For sure.
For
Pretty much.
What a
Yeah.
plug. Okay. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about from where you're from. So, we all know you work at Two Cows, and your name's Guerrilla. So, what's your favorite animal?
Well, I guess we'll go pretty basic. Favorite animal is a cat. I don't own any
Okay.
cats myself, but I like how they are. My girlfriend has 2 cats, and I like playing with them. They like me. It's kind of funny you say the whole gorilla thing and animals, because there's not a thing about the animal at all when I made my name. But yeah, cat. Very simple.
Very simple. Good choice. Let's talk about Reddy, the Reddy clan, which is, I don't know if you're still in Reddy or you're in Jaden Finch still or something.
Still Jane and Finch.
Okay.
Never changed.
So let's talk about Reddy. Where did Reddy come from?
So Reddy. So that Reddy kind of disappeared about a year ago. It was actually originally a Ryerson clan, and Ryerson is the university I went to.
Wow.
Back
what
to
a
my
school.
friends. Yeah, and Reimer also goes to that university apparently.
Yeah, it's very prestigious. It's one of
It's-
the best polytechnic institutes turned universities in all of Toronto.
And well, Reimer is actually a professor there for passing 101, Elton Pass specifically. So that's where you want to go. But anyways, we used to have this thing where the buddies there, whenever we want to play video games together, we'd type on Skype like, "Are you ready?" And it'd usually be like, "Are you ready, League? Are you ready, StarCraft?" You know, whatever game it is. And so while the clan tag is ready, RDY, the actual, if you right clicked on it, it's actually "Are you ready?" And RU is also the initials for Ryerson University. So that was kind of the origin of it, and then I was just always in it. I never changed, and then people just like, "Oh, Ready Guerrilla," and I became the clan owner of it. So it's just kind of how it came. And Fable was in it as well. Yeah.
Wow. You guys have a long history. When did you first meet Fable? Because he didn't go to Ryerson.
No, I've known Fable for like 7 or 8 years, so
Oh,
I've known him for a long time. I knew him before he was Fable. He had another name before. I don't know if he wants me to tell anyone or not, but he was another person before.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's creative.
yeah.
Now you've known him for a really long time, so this should make this next question pretty easy. Fuck, marry, kill. VJ, Tom, or Sam Dong, who also goes by HECP and Kasora.
Sweet. What a question.
What a question.
This is like really awkward because this is like my League of Legends crew right now. like all of them. I mean,
Well, you can't
So-
fuck them all, so you
I can't
gotta-
fuck them all as much as I'd like to. You know. Okay, so I think I have to go with the obvious. I have to kill off the Ebola.
You have to kill
I
off
think
Ebola.
I have to do my civil duty to at least kill the Ebola. So bye, Ebola Sora. All right. For fucking Mary, shit. All right. I think this is easy. Tom, he's an owner, 2-time owner. He's like a family man, so I think he'd be the better choice to marry. Fable, he lifts and stuff. He's probably the guy you'd want for like a one-night stand sort of thing. To have some kind of aggressive
my
fuck
God.
sessions, hot and sweaty and stuff. Have some stationary cardio in there.
Oh,
So yeah.
I'm glad you thought about it.
What a way to start the show off, guys. This is just going perfectly.
It's getting romantic.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
sweet of you.
I guess that's the answer. I see
Fucking Fables in the
Fable's answer.
Twitch chat and everything.
I don't think people's happy with that answer.
Yeah. I'm straight.
No, there's no one doubting that. Come on. You're an athlete. Okay.
Okay. Next question, please.
Next question. Okay. So, is it true you met your girlfriend in a jungle? Kappa?
Yeah, the jungle. Toronto is known, Canada in general is known for their vast jungles.
Right.
And I would be perched up in one of my mighty trees. I am the Guerrilla, one of the kings of the jungle.
course.
And I'm actually,
Gorillas
Beyond
don't
the
go
game
in
because-
trees.
I'm that cool. I'm also like, I do pull-ups and stuff. So I got up there, and I just played my guitar, and it would basically summon all the females, and I
Of
just got my
course.
pick. So that's pretty much how it came down.
And I know you graduated a while ago, but Ryerson's still the exact same. You just climb up a couple vines, play your guitar. Yeah. It's just like
Yeah.
that still.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So as you all know, or you should know, that Rhyme Time is streamed using Skype. And Rennie, you've always been more of a Skype guy than a TeamSpeak guy. Why is that?
Mostly, well, I mean, back when I started playing, it was mostly because I didn't really like having all these voices in my head. It can happen on Skype too, but it'd just be kind of annoying. You have like Kurt telling me how shit I play when I'm on his team and stuff, and like it's just like I'm just gonna listen to fucking music, fuck all these kids, and I don't know, it kind of evolved from there. Like I kind of like the smaller group of people to talk to, and yeah, kind of just like the atmosphere of it a lot more.
Oh, so sweet. Okay, well, when you first started playing, things were mostly just pub-based. And that was when I first met you. So what was it like being the unlucky straw who always got stuck playing with Phil?
I mean, I think everyone's experienced that when they played pubs. I think everyone's played at least a couple hundred pubs when they first started. You always get the random shitter. I guess that's kind of BM to say. The random less skilled player. And so it was kind of like that. It was actually good because this was kind of before I actually played goalie a lot, and you would always opt in, and your friends, whether it's Chingu or Fanuf or I think there's a couple of random, there's like a loophole. Actually, when I first saw you guys, it was really funny because I was like, all these guys have fucking Maple Leaf names. I was like, what the fuck? These guys. And actually, the first lobby I ever saw, I was like, okay, these guys have hockey names. These guys are probably really fucking tryhard, like faggots. And then you weren't that good.
You got half of it, right?
Yeah. So, we actually got. I think that's why we started talking, because it was like, hey, you guys are you from Toronto and shit like that? And it actually feels like a really long time ago. I barely remember those days. But yeah, I mean, it's just like these silly guys, and I think I saw you posted like a highlight video.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
old, and I was like, oh, these guys are pretty silly. So it's kind of just getting from there, and it was okay.
Yeah. Great players coming out of Phil. Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about your goaltending, because originally, before ZHL and stuff, that was kind of what you were known for, being the #1 goalie in the community, as far as, whatever server, you were the #1 goalie. So what made you actually start playing that position?
Um, I mean, it was just kind of something different. I originally came to hockey playing strikers a lot, mostly just pubs, but there's never any goalie from that, and so having a goalie position in this game was kind of intriguing at first, and you're kind of the different unit and stuff like that. It also expanded like when Wildfire would originally invite me to the in-houses. There's only one in-house for like the entirety of Zealot hockey, and sometimes there'd be like 9 or 10 players, and to make sure I played in every single one, I'd go goalie. So I would never get sat because I think in those days it was only like me and Serve that ever played goalie. I think Kurt played goalie really, really early on.
Sparingly.
But yeah, you're mostly wanting to skate. So that's kind of the main reason. It was like, oh, get me to play all the time, and it was fun back in those days. And I mean, the whole server stuff back then, no one talked about servers. Never felt a big difference. So
Right.
yeah, it was just kind of not many people did it, and it was actually fun just making Wildfire bitch more and. Oh. It's kind of like you had that one post about it in your blog where it's like Wildfire has one game where he takes a shot, you realize that you just have to take a step forward and press X and he'll never score on you again, and
Pretty much.
that's like 90% of how to stop him, and even most people there are pretty basic. So it was kind of fun being kind of the blue baller.
That's pretty much why everyone starts playing goalie, I think, to get to play every game and just
Yeah.
bust people's nuts. So it's great. And
Yeah.
Wildfire gets no love on the show at all. Poor kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor
Yeah.
guy. Were there any legendary influences on your style of how you played? Because before serve, mostly people would just be goalie, but then they kind of run around and chase the puck like they were a skater.
Yeah, well, when I originally started, it was in really, really basic state where there wasn't even an opt-in button. So like everyone was just god awful at goalie. There's no way to practice it. And that's why everyone was really bad. I'd
Right.
say once that button was implemented where you could actually opt in, the one name that I remember before me was QC Killer.
Yep.
A lot of people, I don't think a lot of people actually remember that, but I think he's like if anyone thinks I'm a legend of goaltending, like he's the true legend because he was the one who like actually was like, oh shit, this guy kind of figured out what to do, and I kind of realized like he'd actually come out to cut down the angles on shots and stuff like that. He kind of went too far out, so I kind of took, I took that concept but didn't take it to his extent where it kind of started sucking, but he was definitely. I'm pretty sure like there's barely anyone. I mean, Kurt is old enough to remember probably.
Yeah, I remember him.
It's in the chat. Maha remembers. You have to be
Yeah.
a really, really old player, and he was the first player that I saw. I think even before you, Reimer. You
Yeah.
actually started goalie like slightly before me, but we started around the same time. Who was kind of the true legend and kind of made me kind of figure out a few positioning things and stuff like that. So yeah, QC Killer.
Yeah,
True.
and we have his brother, Killer Caterpillar, in the chat. So it's good to have the family here.
Yeah. QC
Yeah.
Killer Caterpillar.
They're relatives, I think. So
Yeah, well-
back then you were like, at that point when you kind of figured things out, QC Killer sort of faded as soon as he came. It's kind of like he's
Yeah.
more of a myth than a legend,
Yeah,
I guess.
that's true.
You were kind of the guy to go to for advice or tips. So how often would you get, hey Guerrilla, I just played a game with you. I really want to know any advice on how to play. How often did that happen?
When I play in pubs, it would happen a good amount. Be honest, it still happens. Like I played a pub like 2 days ago, and I was still being asked for tips. It's kind of, I mean, like you can't really give that good advice. You kind of have to sit down with the replay with the guy.
Right.
But it would happen a lot. Back in the goalie days, yes and no. There's still like back then there still wasn't that many people that would go into goalie. They'd have someone like, or they'd kind of get interested in it, but then they have someone like Wildfire Kurt just come along and just like wreck them, and then they'd be like, all right, fuck this, I'm just gonna skate.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, people still ask me for advice, and not that I'm really that great of a coach in my opinion, but people just saw me as like a decent player, so they wanted some advice to get better.
Yeah. So, like we were talking about with Wildfire, or I guess Wildfire is the easiest example because he took the same shot every single time, no matter who was the goalie, whatever the score. There could have been like 2 seconds left in the game. You've stopped him every single time, and he's still going to do the same shot that he did the entire game, and he'll lose. But now there's a lot better skaters out there now compared to before, where it was just mainly Bruce, Maha, and Kurt. And if those guys weren't in the lobby, you were pretty much guaranteed a shutout.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Those were nice days. So, what was it like being a goalie then, compared to how it is now? What do you think the position is? Has it evolved with the times, or?
It's definitely evolved. I mean, there's still a couple core changes that happened. Like when I originally started goalie, there's no one-timer, and that was a big change. But I think it was a really good change for the game. I think everyone will agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, I think the overall level of skill in skaters have gone up dramatically for the most part. And it's kind of near the end of season 1 where I realized that, you know, these skaters are getting pretty legit. You need like skaters to do something here. Like, it's like, guys, you got to do something. Like, this guy has the puck forever and my shield's done. And I mean, basically just the level of skill is so much higher. The goalie has players are just so much smarter. You know, you have players like Waterman and Prost who have taken offense to just a whole nother level. Sorry, Kurt.
See ya, buddy.
Oh, mean.
But I mean, and even like you have those players, but then even like second rounders, third rounders, fourth rounders, they can deke a goalie out pretty easily if they're left alone. So, you know, everyone's dangerous, and it's just become a point where like the defensive skaters got to do something to at least, you know, make it not so easy, because everyone's good enough that they can hit the one-timer passes. Before, like, only like Kurt or Bruce could hit.
Back when you had to spam C as fast as you could, trying to get.
Well, there was that too.
Those were the good old days.
Oh,
Make
man.
it hard. Make it hard to do.
Like when one-timers were first implemented. God, that was terrible.
That was very silly. You know, Kurt, when you were mashing that C button, like the fake C button, it looked pretty silly. You should do it again. It looked a little like you were enjoying the stream a bit too much. But in other news, we have a special guest, is Sluck13, who other people might know as Slucked Up or Fanuff. So we have a veteran in this chat. Welcome to the chat. You're a great guy. And Killer Catter, fuck that name, is putting him in his place. So see ya, buddy. But Rennie, this show's about you. So
it's all about you.
It's been, like, I guess you could say it's been over a year, well over a year since you last were like a goaltender first.
It's been more than a year.
Yeah, it's been like since season 1.
Year and a half around, or a little bit more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Given the time to practice, do you think you could get back to being the #1 goalie if you really committed yourself to it?
I don't know. Maybe. It's I mean, the #1 goalie spot right now, it's really it's constantly changing, I think. I think it's yeah, you know, maybe this season will be marker. But I mean, I think it's so team dependent that it's hard to even say a #1 goalie right now. All the top goalies that you say, like, I even posted about this in the forums, like the end of last season, all the goalies that you think are the top goalies, they had a really good team around them for the most part. But I mean, if I practiced, I don't know if I'd be #1, but I think I could at least be starting quality.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. Kurt, what about you? There are 10 teams in the league. You're the top goaltender in shootouts. So all you gotta do is make sure the game gets a shootout and you'll win,
buddy,
for sure.
Okay, let me explain how things are. I'm the greatest relief goalie there ever is, because I can only goalie at the end of games or in shootouts or like something like that. Like, I can't, if I goalie the whole game, I'm just terrible. But, like, you know, if you put me in for relief, oh yeah, I can make a couple saves. Don't worry.
The closer.
I believe in you.
The closer.
Yeah,
actually, no. I think as much as I give him BM, I think Moose actually has the title for the greatest off the bench goalie, just because, you know, he's pretty much rode Pine to 2 championships and come off the bench and played amazing whenever he's called on. So he's got the title for best relief goalie.
Okay.
This is very, very BM. I just got a text from my girlfriend saying, "Sluck's right. Please shave." I thought this was a BM free stream. So,
When is the last time you shaved?
Yeah, when is the last time?
and also I'm getting messages on Skype. He's wearing a winter hat indoors. What a nerd. I don't want to troll in the chat, lol. So you're just trolling me here. Thanks, buddy. I'm getting a lot of love.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very distracting from the questions because we have a lot of questions.
We do.
Do
We do.
We do.
Yeah, we just might. So, okay. Back to you as a goaltender. Season 1, you were drafted first round by Genius, which was a great choice. Crush was also chosen first round for his team in Season 4. Ruckle was picked second round for the Reapers Season 5. And as, like, that was like this curse where it's like all 3 of those teams just swooped right to the bottom of the league. Goza being the only exception, with Season 4 he was drafted second round by Watermelon. How important is a goalie to the team? You mentioned about how it's all about the people surrounding him that really make the goalie look good. So how important is a goalie, and do you think there's like a tiers, or is it just all about who's around them?
Well, kind of asked about your question. Wasn't Goza third round in that season?
I think that was a
checked
wraparound.
drafts.
I think it was a wraparound draft, and
Might
it
have
was
been
like,
a wraparound, but
so like it could have gone. He was
Okay.
You know, I think it was like late second, early third. So I think it
Yeah,
was.
it was late second. It could have. I guess you know what? Fuck you. Whatever.
I don't know.
Whatever.
anyways, I guess early.
Yeah.
Still
I mean,
counts as second.
Sure. I mean, he still had Blitz and Watermelon that season, but it is a curse to have them too early. It pretty much isn't good. It kind of reinforces my theory that, you know, a good skater will always be more effective than a good goalie, at least in
Right.
the long run. Like, a goalie can have an amazing game, but you know, his luck will run out, because I think you need a good amount of people around you. For a goalie, you just need someone who is like not going to let in just the complete shit shots.
Right.
You know, not get tilted if they let in a goal. That's pretty much all you need. So I mean, you need someone who's past a certain level, like just not terrible, but the difference between that kind of average level and having like a complete like top tier goalie, it's not as big of a difference as you'd want. You know, you'd rather have, you know, in that season, if Genius went with whoever, like if he went with Vapor instead of me, I don't know who else would have been the first round. I kind of forget Irish
Right.
stats, something like that. Probably would have worked out better. But that's kind of interesting how it, I guess the drafting, I guess you can say metagame kind of evolved. Because even in Season 2, Watermelon found that drafting TK as his second rounder, the first in the second round, was not too good for his team. He had other problems, but generally a goalie too early will be the downfall of a team.
The great Ted Bundy, man, second overall over in Europe, winning it all for second season in a row. I'm just saying, Ted Bundy is the only outlier.
That is the only outlier.
Second overall, too. That's not just first round. That's like literally the second pick of the draft. That's insane.
Yeah, EU goalies though, totally different. Too strong, man. Watch that when they invade. See a TK, see a me, see everybody that plays goalie. EU kids, man. Goes talking about sex tapes. Really great guy. Love him in the chat. He's great. Now, in real life, the goalie is considered to be the most important position on the team, pretty much, like bar none. It's kind of like the quarterback in the NFL. There was discussions before on Rhyme Time with Crush where we talked about balancing the goaltending position, because before one-timers, being a goalie was easy and almost to a degree too easy. So the game evolved, but the goaltenders stuck with the same abilities. There was a big forum post where you also shared your thoughts. So why don't we start off with, this is open to Kurt and Gur. Do you think goalies need a buff?
It's
one.
hard to say.
Or a change to them.
I think what I got from that thread, and what I also think, is that it doesn't necessarily need to be buffed, but it needs to be made more fun, which indirectly could be a buff. You because there's not really that many goalies, and even there's probably enough starters for ZHL for the most part, but in Pro League it kind of dwindles, I think. I think it's just not as fun as Skater. Like, I used to play goalie, and when I play Skater now, it's a lot more fun. I think most people would say that playing Skater is just more fun. I think that's the big hurdle with it. Because you have those games you're just getting shit on as goalie. It's not very fun. If you have games where you just have watermelon in your face all day, it's not that fun. Or any like top player. So I think that's the main thing. If the skaters are playing properly, and maybe you can agree with this, Reimer, since you played on Coral this last season, if they're playing properly, it's a lot more fun when you only have a few shots on you, and it's a lot more fun when you're actually making saves and you're not getting blown out. This is the point I'm getting at. So I think in the current state, it's really reliant on the skaters. So I don't exactly know what would make it more fun. I posted some suggestions. Some are kind of retarded, but it'd be cool to have just to test some stuff out in the off season, which should already be doing right now. But I guess that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, if we had a dev lab on us. Yeah, no, that Gur's right. I mean, I wouldn't say that necessarily need a buff per se. I mean, we only saw 2 mercy rules this last season. This was the most balanced season we've had by far. No mercy rules for the most part, and I mean, that's really just because skaters have gotten so good. And the problem is that when your defense is playing really good on both teams, you're going to get a 1-0 game, a 2-1 game, 3-4, a real tight, down, nitty-gritty type of a game. But if they're playing terribly, that's when you do get the 10 goal, the 7th goal, and the 8 goal games. So that's the problem, is that if you did buff a goalie, it'd literally be impossible to score, depending on the type of buff you do. But yeah, it does need to be made more fun and accessible, because we simply don't really have the good goalie numbers. You're just seeing that a lot of people are just kind of getting put into the goalie. Yeah, they're getting forced into it simply because they want to play, or just because the team needs it. So I don't know. It'd be tough to make a change without ruining the game, but I mean, if it's needed, then it's needed.
Yeah, I just linked in chat an example of why goalies desperately need a buff. That's my number one exhibit of why.
I remember
that. That is fill out their finest. Hey, Kurt, you're in that gift. That's really cool.
Am I?
Yeah.
That's great.
That's
a quality moment. It's a historic moment.
Very historic. Very prestigious.
The no-stop goalie.
What a meta.
Wow.
The wall is already too good. Ball with their reaction.
Back in the prison courtyard, man. I do not miss those days.
Oh, that was dark, man. I also have a theory that I'm very superstitious, so I think with all the changes to the ice, it actually made me play worse. I used to play on low settings, and my computer got better, so I could play on high settings. Then I started letting in more goals, so I started playing on low, just because it was it'll be just like before. So yeah, I think just playing goalie, it's not easy to do, especially with bad defense. And then from there, it's just not that fun. Unless you're being able to stop shots, and skaters are just so good now. So I'd like to see a change. Most specifically, I'd see a change where the dash goes to where your cursor is pointed, as opposed to where you click. But that's my one main grip. Besides, making the force field bigger, not have a cooldown. A toggable force field would be really good, I think. Very balanced too.
Just constantly have it on in the middle.
Yeah, that'd be great. Crush, I hope you're listening. So, enough about goalies, because it's very boring and sad. Why did you choose to become a skater, and what was the transition like? Well, you already mentioned it was kind of more fun. So, what was the transition?
There's a lot of factors in that. One, it was more fun. I think one really big reason was going into season 2. I chose to become an owner because I didn't want to get geniused again. I basically wanted to draft my own team because I wasn't really happy with this draft. And then I got voted as a first rounder, and so it's like I had to pick myself for watermelon, and it's basically I knew it's like there's no way if I'm a goalie this is gonna work out, so I have to just be a skater. That was a pretty big reason why. And that's the main reason why, I guess. And I guess it worked out because I just played skater a lot, and I just kind of knew if I was goalie for that season, it probably wouldn't have won it. So it's pretty much the main reason why, and it was actually fun. So it was actually not really a hard choice to make. In terms of the transition, I mean, I had probably played about 2,000 games as goalie at that point, so I at least understood a lot of how the game works, what works, what doesn't.
Right.
I kind of used my experience as goalie to kind of know, like, well, if I was going in this position, I'd want my skater to do this. Kind of all that kind of stuff. I was already familiar with like the whole meta of going back and forth and getting it and blocking them and stuff like that. So the transition wasn't that bad. You still have to play, kind of grind out some games, some mechanics, and be familiar with all that good stuff. But yeah, basically just played a lot. That was about it. And it is kind of funny when I think about it that I had to have the value of a first-round skater in my first season skating, so I had a lot of pressure to actually improve.
Did you win Defender? Did you win Defender? Best Defender that season?
Yeah. I've won it every season I've skated. So
easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Okay. Well, speaking of defenders, Ruckle, Proster, and you're all proven goalies and skaters. TK signed up for season 6 as a defender first, goalie secondary if he had to. How do you think he will fare as a defender this coming season? Do you have any advice?
Any advice? I think he could perform fairly well if he actually sticks with it. He's been kind of doing a pattern of always signing up as skater and then ending up as goalie anyways. I don't know if that's a secret strategy. Not so secret.
You're like Bulb, always signing up as goalie?
Same idea, I guess. So I don't know if that's very, I don't know, truthful in what he signed up as. I mean, if he actually stuck with it, he could be a decent defender. His passing, I'm sure, could be pretty good. It's the best as a goalie, so I'm sure that translates. He can do the wall bounces as a skater. I think that's part of the reason why I'm good at it, because I would do it as a goalie. So, passing is still passing.
Right.
And I think it's actually easier as a skater. I don't know why. So I think if he actually practiced at it, he could definitely be pretty good. But you definitely have to play a lot.
Okay, well, let's go back to when you were back with Genius in season 1. So let's all get into the way back machine. Buckle up. What was Genius like as an owner? I know a lot of people probably watching may or may not remember him at all. How did you feel when he disappeared, leaving with a subpar team at the bottom of your division? So when we address the first part first, what was Genius like as a friend?
As a friend?
As a friend, yeah.
It's a strong word, buddy.
No.
As an acquaintance.
As an acquaintance. I don't know what to say about him. Like, I didn't really talk to him very much for like the short time. He drafted me and he talked to me like once before. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna draft you," and that was it.
Oh boy.
And and I remember it was like in those days, I was out when the draft actually happened, and they only did the first 4 rounds, and then they did the rest of the draft the next day. And when I came home, I was like, "Holy shit, this team is not gonna do well." And I just talked with him, and in the conversation before he drafted, he was like, "All right, I'm gonna get you, and I got 2 other players that no one knows about. They're our secret weapon." And those secret weapons turn out to be Whirlwind and Arbiter.
Oh man.
And
very prestigious names.
The very
AZHP.
The very the secret weapon of Arbiter, Whirlwind. Yeah, you see how that turned out. He really didn't talk to me that much. We got him on Skype a few times, and as Reimer has shared, he didn't really like if you called him by his actual name for some reason. And I'm still under the theory that Reimer actually caused him to leave by calling him by his name in like a lobby, because he got really emotional that one day, and then he kind of never returned after that day. I'm pretty sure that was the last time I saw him too.
Wow. Why would you BM him like that, Reim?
Yeah. Okay, well,
Buddy,
all I know is that it was very scary, especially the messages he sent me afterwards. They were very dark. So I'm pretty nervous about whatever actually did happen to him.
Yeah.
So it's very scary. I don't want to talk about Genius that much.
I mean, he was. I mean, as a player, he's actually pretty interesting. He played a style that I never really saw before.
Sitting in front of the goal,
super far back, even when the puck's in the offensive zone. And for some reason, every time he would get the puck, he'd always pass it to me, or pass it to any goalie.
Yeah.
That's probably why he picked me over Reimer.
Dude, I loved playing his defense.
It was kind of strange. And I mean, strangely enough, our team started off the season like not too bad, better than I thought, and then we left and we barely won a game after that. So you know, he was kind of a strange guy. I don't really know what to think of him really. He just left. I basically like to think I absorbed him.
You absorbed him?
Yeah, I became the true defender.
Gorillas.
Pretty cool. What was your other question? I forget.
So he disappeared, and then you basically took up being owner. So why don't you describe that transition and how you thought? Do you think you could save the franchise from a terrible season?
I remember that day of how I think it was like Angle was like the one bitching really hard about it, and Angle is Angle. He's gonna bitch about anything. And I was kind of thinking like, well, I have this team now. He's drafted all these players that I would not have drafted. I need to somehow take this team from the shitter, and hopefully, my goal was only to make the playoffs that season. I mean, I tried to make changes to it. It was a salary system back then, so he also further fucked up the team by having his own salary as like super high. He put my one super high, so our salaries combined was like half the team. So I couldn't get certain players anyways because we were taking a cap hit of like half the team between two players, and he's not even a player anymore. So that was kind of a problem. See, that's not a kind friend. That's not what good friends do. So I mean, I tried pretty hard. Like I tried like these really silly trades to Bruce. I think I tried one to Maha for Peter, like, or I'm trading like half the team. There weren't really any trade rules back then. It was basically just if you can get them to accept, it would work.
Yeah.
And those are also in those days you could get a free agent just by basically making someone agree to sign up with you.
Yeah.
And so I had Fable. I even had Zaxmack on that team who was never played, but I was like, oh, this guy's not too bad, and we can start him. And then, you know, it's almost like I owe this community an apology for this one player that I brought to this game. You know, there's one guy, you know, his username was Rush.
Oh God!
I brought him into my team. I brought him into the ZHL. Gave him a starting spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much regret that choice. All the pain and suffering he's caused, basically caused by me.
So persistent.
I gave him the confidence to go on, and you know, I remember like I used to say encouraging words to him. Like he was like, "No, man, I'm not good enough." But it's like, "Yeah, Rush, you can do it, man. You're the best." No, but I almost feel Kurt has the music button ready to go any second.
No. I'm good. You know, I feel the same way about droplets because I had a similar conversation with him season 1. You know, oh, I'm never gonna be good enough to start, man. You know, I don't got that. I'm like, no, man, you'll be fine. Just press C, aim at the net. You'll fit into the rotation, and then you know all the trail destruction that he's left. I understand your feeling, Guerrila.
But yeah, I mean, I tried really hard. I got Rush free agency. I got 2 dudes free agency. I think I had Fable. I mean, all these players, they're known pretty well now. And, like, going back, like, that team would actually be really good now. But not quite what they're at. They're just kind of starting out. So I tried, but we didn't really win many games after that. Maybe, like, 2 or 3. And we didn't make the playoffs. So I tried, but, yeah.
It was very sad, too, because I remember we would talk on Skype before because back then it was still, like, the 3-3 system. So Marsar was just like they sucked at the beginning. Like they were like 0-3.
They were 0-5, I think, actually.
Yeah, and then they started just ramping up after they got TK. So we did the math, and Guerrila had to beat them, and then I had to beat them in order for the Flyers to make the playoffs by like a point. And Red Wings would be at the top of the division, then it would be Flyers, then it would be the Threat Agents. Instead, the Threat Agents just beat both of us. And so they kind of... it was very sad times.
Yeah, well, I mean, that team, I think one reason was Vapor wasn't showing up the first couple games of the season. They had some goalie trouble, so when they did get to TK, that kind of got their missing piece of the puzzle.
They had like Bobby O or something at goal.
They had like Crazy Men when he wasn't that good, or like Ting BM or something.
Tim A.
And I mean, also just throughout that season, like Vapor and Peter both got really good. Because I'm pretty sure Maha was like laughed at for making his draft.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah.
And just like, who the fuck are these kids? Is what all you guys are thinking. And yeah, like Vapor and Peter really evolved. You know, they're known as really good players now, but back then not so much. They were actually kind of semi-risky picks. That's why Maha was laughed at. But you know, they became really, really good. And by the end of that season, and even still now, like if you had to play a game against Maha, Vapor, and Peter, you know it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. That was a really good. I mean, one of the most star-studded rosters. You're talking about 3 first-round draft picks in any season afterwards. That's
yeah.
But yeah, Maha was definitely laughed at that roster. That was the greatest GMing you'll ever see, and a lot of people didn't believe in the process, and it was definitely paid off for him.
That Uber pick.
Meanwhile, my owner drafted Pants the second round.
Best pick ever.
Yeah.
Did Pants ever play a game?
No, he
Did
didn't.
Pants ever sign it? I've never.
No, he
seen
never
a
showed
game.
up.
I saw him in like a pub. He had like some friend, which was some other piece of clothing. I forget what it was. It was like
Some
pants and some
other
other
piece
thing.
of clothing.
Yeah, it's kind of
Overalls.
like I almost thought of him. I thought of him similar in ways I thought of Watermelon, because Watermelon used to always join with his friend Grapefruit, and I thought it was kind of funny. And because then they had another pair like. Back in those days, there's a lot of little pairs, little couples. There's like me and Fable would often join a lot of games together. There's Watermelon and Grapefruit. There's like Pants and some other name. I don't even remember.
Very silly.
Yeah, silly shit. Yeah, those days are funny days.
Good old
Very
days,
silly
man.
days. Yeah, so back in those days, I think Angle Fire gave me a warning on the forums, and I think he gave you one too.
Yeah, we were the first to be able to get warnings on the
Yeah,
forums.
I think I got one from him too.
I know why I got one.
Can you describe what it was like having Angle Fire on your team in detail?
In detail?
All the juicy BM that you might have pent up.
I don't even remember him that much. I remember him just being like, I don't know much about him personally. Kind of glad I don't. I think he's fairly young. You always see him across me as this really bitchy teenager. And I mean, I say that I was on a team with tanks, so he's kind of worse than that. Keep that in perspective. You know, he was always just really annoying. That's kind of how to sum it up. You know, and I think I got warned by him because another legend, Sharkyscape, made a post that like me and Fable are like colluding with people to win pub games, and he posted on the forums. Then I basically told him like, you're retarded or something like that, and I got warned for that. It's like, why don't you warn the guy who's just like accusing me of like, he thought that we were like getting our friends to join the other team so we'd win a pub game. You know, Anglefire is just a weird guy. I don't know what to think about him. He always is away, and you know, he's just weird.
He has a strange and vibrant personality. That is for sure.
That's one way to put it, yeah, for sure.
Actually, one thing I remember, he just one of those players that in the middle of ZHL games would always start typing and complaining about shit. Like, and like Zach Smack would get so mad when it'd be like, why the fuck did you take that shot or something like that? And Zach would be like, why are you talking to me? It's like, guys, this is a fucking game right now. Why are you even talking? And so he's one of those very chatty people in the middle of games. At least that's what, I don't know if he changed over the seasons, but that's how he was in season 1. And I mean, we dealt with him because the first few games he was actually looking like he was going to be pretty good, but he's an angel.
Yeah, quite a guy. Quite a fire. What a guide, though. What a guide. Okay, so you signed Fable, you signed Rush. So you have an eye for talent. Talk about your season 2 team and your idea going into the draft. You had to draft yourself first. What happens next?
I did a lot of like research of looking at pubs, and I think I was the only owner of that season to actually go to like the scouting combine or whatever, and I would just spectate a bunch of games. And in those games was actually when I saw Amin, the great mysterious Amin, who I don't know much about.
Mysterious Amin.
He's very mysterious. I think he's like the biggest mystery. But well, I guess second round was Bulb. Basically, I kind of figured like I was starting to play Skater going into that season for like a few weeks, and I remember Bulbasaur from the Clan tournament, and he was actually really good. So I was like, I need an offensive player. My choices were probably like I did a few mock drafts. I figured my choices were going to be like Peter, Bulbasaur. I think Ruckle was another potential. Ruckle got picked. Peter was like his whole like, oh, I'm only gonna play one server, blah blah blah. So I was like, I don't want to deal with that. So I got Bulbasaur. And that ended up being a really amazing pick. He actually exceeded like my expectations of him, and he played like a first rounder that season, which was really good. Then I think I didn't really know who was going to be around for the third. It's kind of hard to predict. And it was also really hard to predict who people are going to pick. One thing that I'm going to say, if Watermelon's listening, might not be that happy about this, but someone gave me his draft board during that season, so I knew 100% he's going to pick Town Crier, and I figured with him picking Town Crier second rounder, I'll definitely be able to get Goza in the fourth round. Goza was like a very risky pick, but he's like that weirdo that always just spectated games for some reason.
Yeah, he would always do that.
I didn't really know why. I still don't know why.
I don't know why. Yeah, I was about to say, do you know now?
I still don't know why. But I saw him play like a few times, and I was like, this guy's actually pretty good. So that's kind of why I picked him. And he's always online somewhere, so it's like he'll show up, he'll play goalie, and that was good. Stealth for the third round I actually didn't think Stealth was going to be around. I thought he was going to get picked by Maha because he played with him the season before. I was expecting someone like Zach Smack or someone like that to be around. But so I picked Stealth, and but really I think the main thing you want to know about in that season was Amin. I was pretty lucky with that pick. But I did scout him, and he looked pretty good. I didn't expect him to become so good so fast. In my opinion, he became first round quality in like a month, and so it was like he sometimes wouldn't show up, but when he did show up, it's like with me, him, and Bulb, it was like we had 3 first rounders, and we just kind of naturally had a lot of chemistry, and it just worked out perfectly. And Goza became, arguably the best goalie that ZHL has seen. He did have a good team in front of him, but he was clutch when he needed to be. So yeah, and I mean, everyone used to say Amin was a Smurf, but I talked to the guy on Skype, and I know like he was not Serve. Serve would not do that. He was like this rich like brown kid from Vancouver.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's like super wealthy. So yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of the main thing. Other people in the draft is stuff that I thought would be good, and some stuff worked out. Other stuff not really.
Well, season 2 was your first CHL and only CHL like finals win, unfortunately. Did you go bananas that game?
That game?
When you won, did you go bananas?
Oh yeah, I definitely went bananas. I went to my kitchen and just threw around some bananas and ate them.
Well, that's good. Your parents must have loved it.
Oh yeah, I know. No, I mean I was really happy about it. It's pretty exciting.
Did you think you would win?
Oh yeah, I did think I was gonna win. I felt like any game that I had my full lineup that season, there's no reason why we should lose. I mean, that last game was honestly like such a roller coaster. Like, if anyone remembers, I think it was the last game where Goza did some retarded play.
I remember.
And like, I was so fucking mad. I'm not even like, I was just really fucking mad. I was like, this is like 20 seconds, and why you gotta do this, man?
Yeah, it was like 20 seconds left. You guys were up by like 2, and then he like runs behind y'all's net, gets stripped, and they dunk it on him with like 15 seconds left.
Shit.
The whole Twitch chat's exploding, cause like
Yeah, me in finals games and people doing funny things, not always the greatest. So I went from like really mad, and then we had to like, I just sit there like all pissed off, like Jesus Christ, I should have just fucking won. And we scored pretty fast the overtime at the end, but it's like everyone in our chat was like telling him like hold the puck, and it's like he starts walking and it's like, whoa, like holy shit, I don't know, this kid is like 12 years old, listen to us for once. Yeah, so I mean I was really happy with that. It was probably a funny moment, but that was not a fun time for me. But we got the win. It's okay. Got the win. Yeah. I was actually also happy to break Maha's streak because, you know, one guy doesn't deserve to win all these things.
it's true.
No repeats for Maha. That's so. Let's take a quick breath before we get into more intense questions. What's it like being the lead guitarist of the official Zealot hockey band?
The lead guitarist.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Congrats, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is this like a promotion right now?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't
Went
know?
from like the studio position to like the on tour.
Yeah.
We're going on tour.
Yeah, we're going on tour, man. Yeah, you didn't know?
Okay, I just found out now. I guess you guys didn't tell my manager or something.
Sorry, we'll let Tom know next week.
Okay. I don't know. That whole stuff has been pretty fun. It's kind of funny how it happened that it was basically just Kurt made that post and I was the only one who talked to him. So he was kind of sad about that. So it was basically just Kurt. I'm just being a friend to Kurt and making it so someone replied to him.
You're a great friend, Rennie. Thank you for being musically talented.
Someone was there for Kurt at least.
Thank you, buddy.
Otherwise, you'd have to be like get the GG violin or something. Pretty sure didn't he say something like that? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I play violin.
No,
but
I think he plays
I'll
violin.
play it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it. I don't know. It might come out good. Who knows? I don't know. We need somebody on piano. That's what I need next. Somebody that's good with piano.
Oh,
I can't wait for the full Zealot hockey album.
Yeah, the full Zealot hockey album, the Christmas album. What was that? What was
Yeah.
that like working on the Christmas album, Rennie?
It was pretty fun. I think the finished product was actually like much better than I thought it was ever going to be, based on like you told me the concept and stuff. It's like this might be kind of stupid, but it was actually put together really well. And you know, Perplex kind of stole the show in my opinion. I really liked
What
Sword.
singer?
I still need to release the single of that. He gave me like 2 minutes. Like Perp literally
Oh my God.
was the last singer and artist that I asked to do a song for. He was like, "Yeah, I'll give it to you as soon as I can." Literally less than an hour later, he's like, "Here you go." Sends it to me on
Oh my
Skype,
God.
and it's 2 minutes long. I only asked for 30 seconds from everybody else. I mean, except for you, Rennie. I just told you to play the
Yeah.
song. Everybody else was like, "Yeah, just give me 30 seconds of you singing. I'll splice it up. It'll probably be 15 seconds."
Yeah.
And no, he sent me 2 solid minutes of Silent Night.
Silent.
God.
Yeah. You know, I gotta just respect his vocal range.
Yeah.
I could never do something that high.
Oh,
It was pretty amazing. But yeah,
was
no,
powerful.
playing that overall album was really funny. Reimer's part was also pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
So,
I
it's
think
really
it was
elite. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
was great.
yeah.
Lots of fun. I can't wait for the next one.
Whatever
Yeah.
the next one is. I mean,
Yeah.
we had an idea of it, but I don't know.
I can't talk about that here.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's enough big announcements.
Blitz actually told me that I need to do a collab of Stairway to Heaven with Perplex. Maybe one day we'll make it happen.
Oh my god.
So,
Oh, man, that'd be
I don't
great.
know about that, but it'd be probably pretty funny.
Okay, back to the hard stuff.
Hard
As a 3-time member of the New Gettysburg Flyers, does that team have a special place in your heart?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. It's kind of a thing like Kurt and the War Pigs. You know, even when you're not on it, you still kind of have it in your mind. I mean, even this season, at least at the start, I had a few silly situations where I'd be looking at the schedule, and I'd be like taking note of when my games are, and then I realized oh shit, I'm not even on the Flyers. What am I doing? And I mean, it would have been cool to be on the Flyers again. I think Stealth wanted to draft me, so it would have been kind of cool. But so yeah, I mean, it definitely has a special place in my heart. retire the Guerrila name on that franchise. And actually, a funny thing is, I think Stealth thinks the same thing, because when the music was doing the jerseys, he like asked me for my input on it. So I was like, all right, this guy.
What a guy.
Yeah, very nice guy, great friend.
That actually would be a cool idea. Having retired jerseys in the home team stadiums. That'd be really nice. The Kurt 58 hanging above the War Pigs when they vortex. Man, doesn't that get you just all riled up and hard, Kurt?
I liked you guys. You guys were not a fun team to play, but you guys were fun to root for and to watch. Thanks,
Kurt. You were too. I mean, not when we played you, but you were great. Okay, back to season 4. Let's talk about season 4 quickly.
Season 4. Okay.
That was a very controversial asterisk season, especially with the trade. And then you guys got fucked over even more when the schedule was changed, and there was a big old controversy about that. So why don't you talk about that? How did that all happen?
I feel like this would be a better question for someone like Moose, where he is.
Yeah, Moose is very upset about that.
Pissed off about that than I was. I mean, the way it worked is that I thought the schedule is one thing, and then they kind of was different, and then it got changed like a week before the games were played, and it was just, I can't change my work schedule with that little amount of notice, so it's just kind of like a rip. I mean, we were still not the favorite team going into that, so it may not have changed it. We may not have been swept, but I mean, the situation was pretty shitty. But I mean, it was annoying, but I can't say I was personally like mad about it. It was kind of disappointing, like, oh, I don't get to play with Eric and Crazy. I got one game with J Money and Taro, got ripped. And so it was disappointing, because I honestly thought that team was really talented, at least on East. I really think in that season, if we didn't hit Shakuris in the first round, we could have made it to the finals. But, you know, it was not meant to be.
Some things don't work out. Speaking of not meant to be, especially for Blitzerg, he might have won the ZHL title as a winner, but he didn't actually get Defender of the Season, because that went to you. A lot of controversy happened because you technically didn't win. Do you think you earned that, or do you think Blitz kind of played a better season than you that season?
I mean, I think it was definitely really close. If there's anyone who would be close to me, it's definitely Blitz. I think he's, in terms of skill, me and him are like really, really even. So because we're so close, it really much comes down to popularity or just how you're held, which I think it's not that I'm super nice to people, but it's like
you're not a dick to people.
Blitz is like really mean to people. It's kind of like Dagus actually said a really good line where it's like, Blitz, you're usually right, but you're an asshole, which is actually true for a lot of the time.
It's pretty funny coming from Dagus. I guess he's speaking from experience.
Well, he said like, it's like both of us, we're usually right, but we're assholes. So I mean,
fucking Dags, man.
It's pretty true. Like, from what I see, like, Blitz, a lot of the time he is right, but he comes off really mean, really arrogant sometimes. I don't know if that's his intention or not, but that basically makes him not very popular for the vote. And ultimately, you know, it is supposed to be a measure of skill, but it's skill plus popularity. So I mean, he may have earned it that season, but I think I played pretty well that season. Had Moose goalie, enough said. Moose on East.
See ya, Moose.
But,
he's a great relief goalie, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he had some good games and some not so good games. But you know, I would not have been surprised if he won it that season, to put it that way. But I think it's more Blitz's attitude towards people. And I'm pretty like neutral. Like when I'm on BattleNet or on the forums, I'm generally not. I don't usually say anything. I feel like I'm on the older side, or I'm kind of mature where I just don't say anything. Whereas he will, if someone like says something he doesn't like or will pick an argument, he will always kind of follow up and will just keep going until the other person just stop talking to him. I'm sure other people have noticed that. I think that's a big factor in it, to be honest, because even like Rush has told me for this season, he was like, I want to vote for J Money, but J Money's probably not going to win. That leaves you and Blitz. I don't want Blitz to win, so I have to vote for you. So, it's kind of, I think that was a really big factor in both seasons because like on the ice he's really good. I think he's just as good as me, but his attitude towards people is what kind of fucks him up.
Yeah, from a caster's perspective, that's dead on the nose. You guys are both really good and pretty close in terms of your playing style and how good you guys both are. It's just his attitude is just really what kills it most of the time, and that's why a lot of people vote for the great Rennie Malone for best defender. I don't know if you have a question for this, Reim, but I think that you won best goalie for season 1, didn't you, Rennie? Didn't you?
Oh,
I think you did.
I think so.
I think you're the only like multi-position winner of
That's
any
cool.
award. I think you are. Well,
I got to All-Star game with both positions at least.
hang on. Yeah, 'cause I think you got to All-Star on like 2 positions. So I think you're the only. I guess.
I'm the GOAT for awards.
I
Is that
guess
what
so.
you're saying?
You got a big award cabinet, buddy. Man, I don't know if you know this, but you
You're
got
like
big.
J-Dong.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know, like, there's that video of J-Dong, like, where he's walking around with his dad, and there's a whole room dedicated to his awards and all the fan pictures and stuff. Very silly. I hope you don't have too many fanfics about you. That would be interesting.
Oh,
I mean, that was basically the whole beginning of the show. All of the fantasy. But
Yeah.
back to Blitz, he makes those top, like, 25, top 50 lists and whatnot. A lot of people have you placed in the top 3 for who to draft. I know it goes like Watermelon, Maha, you, or something like that. Do you
Proster.
think... Yeah, Proster too. Do you think you belong up there in the, like, the very early picks?
Going into this, it's really hard to say. I don't necessarily think I'm top 3. I think I'm maybe top 5 or 6. I still think Maha, Vapor are better than me. And I mean, Vapor really showed up in the finals, so he played better than I did. I think if you're looking for drafting next season, I think Eric is better than me. So I think I'm around 5th or 6th at least. Other people, it's hard to say. Like, if you want offense, you'd have to draft someone like Wayne King over me. Like, his team didn't do that well, but if you look at his stats, it still wasn't too bad. So I don't really think I'm top 3. I think offense is still a little bit more important than defense. So I'm pretty sure, while I'm still probably pretty high up there, I think a few other players should be before me, so I shouldn't be top 3.
So humble. So humble.
So humble, Malone. So speaking of being humble, but also being really good, you are also ranked with Fable and me as the top players in Hover. I think we're like 1, 2, 3. Is this a coincidence? Or
Yeah,
is it
Toronto's
just...
OP, man. You know, when you get an oval rink, you got 3 people from Toronto, good things happen. No, I think it's basically like I think the 3 of us honestly have played it probably most of anyone. It's not a very popular game. You're basically the wildfire of Hover as you created the first group, I think.
the Hoover Club or whatever. Yeah.
Hoover Club. I actually like Hover a lot. It's really different, but I don't know why. As for why we're the best, I don't know. I used to joke that I'm like the Proster of that game, but it's a fun game, but really different. At least they got an oval rink though.
I just remember, like, Irish Lad, he joined the game by accident because he just hit the join game
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever, and then he joins, we start playing, and he gets like 5 goals, and he's like, this game's awful, and he just leaves. It's just like, like someone's a natural, but
That's pretty good.
speaking of talent, is being so skilled at video games why your girlfriend loves you?
Oh, you know, maybe. I mean, well, to actually take that question somewhat seriously, I think a bit of it is like she's a gamer herself, and I think if I was bad at games, it'd be like kind of a turn off. I mean, I'm okay at games, but you know, I'm shit at some of them. So you know, if you show passion in what you like, it can be a turn on, I guess. And sure, I'm a great player at this hockey game in StarCraft 2.
Are you good at
So
ladder?
sure.
Are you good at ladder within StarCraft?
I was Masters, yeah.
Oh, well, can you like
Sucks,
teach
that.
me because I'm shit. At,
I mean, why would you ask to be an out Maha, man?
buddy,
GM.
because Ma hates me. You don't know that. Me and Maha have been going at it for years. So like,
You guys have
I mean,
dildos and
he did
everything.
wish you a double-sized dildo for you and Dirty or something. I saw that screenshot.
No, I was just for Dirty. I think I'm pretty sure it was just for Dirty.
I think it's both of you, to be honest. Like, it's a double-sided.
Oh,
Was it
okay.
double-sided?
No, I think the
it's
thing was that it was
double-sized.
double-sided so that both.
No,
of
you
them
get
would
one
be for
end,
Dirty.
he has the other end.
No.
you know.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I remember that BM because
Hanks is
I was in the
watching,
team
guys.
speak while that was happening, buddy. That was
That
gold.
That was epic.
That was.
Honestly,
oof.
that was like the most entertaining moment that Maha has ever provided for anyone, I think.
And that was the first
Whoa!
game of ZHL ever, I think.
That was the second
was-
game.
it-
That was
yeah,
literally the
it was-
second game of ZHL ever, and it was just complete disaster. Oh,
I
man.
just found it so funny because Maha is usually this super calm and quiet
Fucking
person,
gold.
and he just like fucking went ballistic. So that's why I thought that was entertaining.
It's fucking terrible. It's like an
Yeah.
hour later.
That was
Yeah,
very
what
special.
was the original question?
I don't know.
Was it
Something-
the video game thing? Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Man, if only she knew that Kurt actually was the MVP or player of the season or something like that.
What?
Yeah, what?
Oh, sorry. I was
should-
reading chat. What'd you say?
Kurt, are you still single?
Yeah, of course I am.
Oh, of course. You just got. Didn't you get like offensive player of the season, or did you get player of the season? Because I really think on your like Plenty of Fish profile
Oh boy.
or your Tinder account, you should probably put that you got the most goals ever with 69 or something.
Me and
I'm a 69 expert.
I don't know about that one, buddy. Yes. I think you did one. Now I'm thinking about it. You did. I think you got it as goalie and defender because you were the first to ever get two positions, and I was the second because I got it as support season 2, and I
Okay.
got it as offense this season. So I think technically, I don't know. You and me have big trophy cabinets, so.
And you're skilled in plenty of positions. That's nice.
I still am waiting to play goalie, man. You know, I want to win player of the season in every single category. Can you please do that for me, Rennie? Can you move to support next season and win it as support? You know, buddy.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing as defense.
I think
but
the bigger challenge is the Guerrilla offense.
Guerrilla
that's
offense.
the real challenge.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the real
that's
challenge.
gonna be the tough one. But you know, you wait for the tough one like right at the end. You know?
Yeah. I mean, can I just have Eric on my team for that?
Yeah, man, you'll be
Yeah,
fine.
probably.
Just support him. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't think that'll happen. You know.
You can do it. I believe in you, buddy. You'll be the first three different position player to
The
win
trifecta.
to win it. The trifecta, man. You got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard for anyone to do that now. Like, at least, like, any top skater, Vapor's talking about this, like, anyone in the first round is a skater. They're not, like, no one's going to let them play goalie. It's kind of like, who let Proster, like, oh, I want to goalie. It's like, no, kid, you need to skate. You need to score all the goals. Like, so it's very hard. It's probably, like, if you go for an award for goalie and stuff like now, so I already have that down. So,
You got the hard one out of the way.
yeah.
I think the goalie one's gonna be the hardest one.
Yeah. There's also TK in the running, but
Yeah.
he's
TK's
got
really
both
no. Rumor has it that he's gonna try to be a defender next season. I don't
Yeah.
know about that. We'll see.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. Will it be better or worse than Kurt defense?
You know what, buddy? You know what?
Okay, I'm sorry,
I'm
friend.
gonna get out of here, kid.
Let's look on the bright side, and let's not talk about people that won awards, but people that are the future. So ZHL Season 5 had, I'm not sure how involved you were with the draft, but Tom ended up getting Tanks, Sir Dinkelberg, and Sam Dong. Why don't you go through that list and kind of have predictions about where they'll end up and their strengths and weaknesses as players and people.
Okay. Well, I guess their first statement was, I did help Tom with the draft.
Mhm.
The night before, there's kind of a story about this. I actually thought, like, Tom was in actually a pretty bad spot in the draft, because he's always been a defensive player, and in this position of the draft, the super strong offensive players are all going to be gone by the time he goes, and basically his pick comes down to me, Kurt, and I think Serve was his other option. Looking back, 3 would have been a really good pick for him, but no one knew that 3 was actually going to get as good as he did. And basically, he picked me, and he called me on Skype after that during the draft. So we got you.
Yeah.
Reim. And Tanks. So where he'll be next season, Hard to say exactly. I know he wants to be an owner, so he might get voted second round. When I think back to that, he could definitely be there. At least if he keeps his emotions down during games. I think that's his main weakness. Tanks can be really good when he's on. Really good stick handling, good clicks and sealing it back. But I think his main weakness is when he gets tilted. When we get behind, he starts playing worse, and that's kind of his main weakness, I think. But he does listen well to kind of we create a lot of team plans for that, and he did listen well, so that's kind of why we liked him. So that's one strength. He is a team player at the end of the day, so that's really good. And he actually had a really good playoff run, I think. Him and Tom had the most points, even though he played the most games. But he performed pretty well, so I was pretty happy with him, and I'm sure he will go on to do great things next season. Sir was the next person. Predict Sir, hard to say exactly. Probably third or fourth round. He's a player that was really good value for the pick. We just didn't have room for him. He dominated Pro League again. And his strengths are that he's really good on offense. He takes a lot of shots that, other at least tanks wouldn't take, and that would go in. He was kind of more decisive with scoring. Actually, going back to tanks, that's one problem with him. He takes fucking forever to shoot. So Sir was better at that kind of stuff. He's a better offensive player than tanks, but a few things with Sir's weaknesses. Sometimes he has a couple bad giveaways in the defensive end. I noticed that a lot, and we didn't really like that as a team. So if he fixes that, he definitely could be a really strong support or offensive player in the later rounds. I guess another weakness is like his general mindset. During the game is fine, but if things don't go his way outside of the game, he becomes like this very salty person.
Oh boy.
In general, I'm just gonna put it that way. An example is just when he didn't get the Pro MVP. He kind of did deserve it in a sense, but there's good arguments for Slide. Either way, he wasn't very happy about that, and he made that pretty obvious. Same idea happened with our own locker room. So so that's one thing to watch out for. If things don't go his way, you might have some problems. Who else was there? Dinkelberg.
Dinkel. Yeah, who we played, I think it was one game, the West game versus your team, Kurt.
No, he played 2 games. West. Yeah, we tried him out. Honestly, he probably isn't ready for ZHL yet. We were trying him out. We wanted him to be a West skater, but he would do really well in practice, and then against quality opponents, but then it felt like he kind of froze up a lot in actual games. He's a really good pro player. Nice guy to talk to on Skype. But I know in that one game against you, Kurt, in that overtime, he had like 3 or 4 solid giveaways right to you for a breakaway.
Yeah, that overtime was me taking shots galore on Reimer.
Yeah.
Like, that alone was like...
You guys were lucky to make it to the shootout, to be honest, because I had multiple good shots on him.
You did.
Yeah. I like, after that, basically the overtime was pretty brutal, and after that I kind of just didn't want to play anymore. So I just let everything, and I also
remember, there was a good minute or so of the minute and a half section where it was like, all right, Kurt took a shot, he hit the post, that was lucky. Dinkel bounces to Dinkel. Oh, he gave it immediately to Rush. That's good. And it was like, I'm nowhere getting the puck, and he keeps passing it to fucking Kurt or Rush. So that was fun. So I think he was a little nervous and stuff. Didn't really play calm enough. So, maybe he'll fix it up. I think another downside is that his work schedule is very strange.
Changed.
He had this really funny post in our internal chat where it was like, hey guys, can you make pro playoffs in the morning? Because I work at night. It's like, I don't think that would be possible. But yeah, he's a funny guy. Last person, Sam Dong, Kisora.
The Sam Donger.
He actually improved a lot this season, I think. He was pretty average pub when he started. I think because it was like me and Tom, he actually had motivation to play a lot. And I know back in season 2, Watermelon thought that he would be better, but then he stopped playing. But I think that Sora still has a lot of potential to get better. He's a pretty good defender, very very good in Pro League, and I think if he keeps at it, he could eventually make a starting lineup. He plays a lot of video games in general, so if he uses all that time to play hockey, he could definitely be like really good. So his downside is that he has Ebola.
Yeah, that's pretty deadly.
Where did that start from? Can I please ask?
Rush.
Should have probably known. Just Rush.
Yeah.
That's enough said. Next question.
I think it came up to like he would play goalie against Rush when we'd scrim, and he'd almost always get 0%, and he'd just eventually call him just like the Ebola. Get this Ebola out of here, and just Ebola, sir. I don't actually know. I think that was it, but I know it was Rush that did it, and we all kind of call him that now. That's kind of Rush's. It's just pretty much typical Rush. Let's be honest.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Why not just talk about Snappy and Cubs too? Just get the whole team in there.
Why not?
This is just the fucking. Like if Rush was here, this is just a typical War Pig circle jerk. Even I'm feeling it now.
Rush says he truly apologizes to Sam Dong.
Snappy, I don't know much about him. I know he was like a top 100 like Rocket League player.
Damn, really?
1v1. Maybe he slipped a bit out of it, but he was fucking good. Like I remember when we played Kurt, and you thought Sam Dong and Tom were really good because they can like fly around and shit. Like Snappy's just like like a poster.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
God, dude, Squid's fucking amazing, man. I'll tell you.
I'm pretty shit at Rocket League.
When you play some, it'll be fun.
Yeah. But Snappy, good Rocket League player, somewhat of a clutch player, but he could be, if he played a lot, he probably could be pretty good. I think he was a pretty good strikers player if I remember correctly. So a lot of those guys can usually get good at hockey if they are dedicated enough. Oh yeah, and Cubs.
What a guy.
Good content creator. Yeah. I don't really want to say anything else.
Whoa,
He's
buddy,
so
come
young.
on. He's so young.
Oh, man. He's very young.
As
He's
a former goalie, if he's gonna continue on with the goaling, what is some advice that you would give him?
Some advice. Why do you gotta put me on the spot like this? Just use the X to stop the puck. I don't know.
Good advice. Wow.
It's a start.
That's like me telling other skaters to press C and aim at the net. It's one of the same thing.
I mean, I can say he's better than when Marker first started. And I played with Marker last season. Marker actually got better, but I had to deal with a lot of the practice Marker games. So he can stop some swipes now. So it's better. I mean, HW Cubs, whatever is the H-Watt, I don't remember. Sometimes I think he plays in his own metagame. Like, he'll be in the correct position, and a snipe is going to be coming, and he'll just move to the other side. So, and I've talked to him about it too, and, he's just an animal in there. Good dancer too, to mention that.
Great dancer. And also great joke. Might be a little too subtle for the audience.
Great video. I like that one.
Yeah. Vapor asked about how your team, the development of the, because a lot of players really excel with the Core Hall War Pigs, their pro team, and also their Zealot hockey team with me doing really well, and so did Tanks. So why don't you share a little bit about what your role in mentorship was on that team and how
Mentorship.
Yeah, the mentorship.
We just had a ton of private lobbies where it was just be us sitting in a lobby. We had a lot of just Red Fable's fucking I assessed the street in the background. Whatever. It's a growth chart. I'm taller than it.
It's good to keep those.
I'm 6 feet. I defeated it. Okay.
You defeated it.
Oh my god.
Yes, I have a childhood growth chart in my room still, and I'm 23. Whatever. Um,
How tall are you?
I'm 6 feet.
6 foot. I'm 6 foot too.
Yeah.
Well, not 6'2". No, I mean I'm also 6 feet.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay,
I'm
that's
not.
cool. What was the? Oh yeah, development. Okay. I mean, I did the most work with the actual starting lineup. So for a lot of the season, we were, and I guess off the draft, we were known that we're just probably gonna have a hard time scoring. So I think at first and foremost, I want to make sure that, well, let's make sure we're good at what we're supposed to be good at. And so, I kind of made everyone do the core hall wall, as I call it. And you got two people, a minimum of two people in front of the net.
Minimum.
Minimum of two people. Minimum of two people. The other person's the chaser. And that was kind of the start of it. It was mostly me, but we overhead team discussions of like where we wanted Reimer to stand and what he's responsible for and what we're responsible for. We went through like all of the common scenarios that'll happen as much as possible because there's always random stuff. And so that was kind of the defensive end what we did. I know Resler called Reimer overrated because he plays really conservative, but that's exactly how we wanted him to play. And so he wouldn't move a lot of time because we didn't want him to move. So that was kind of, we had a whole system of where people would stand. And as long as everyone stuck to that system or that plan, it would work out really well. In terms of offense, we didn't do that much. Like, I can't really teach offense that well aside from, well, Tanks and Tom are like these redliner motherfuckers that would take forever to actually shoot. And so I'd always tell them, it's like, sometimes you just gotta fucking shoot. You're not going to score if you don't shoot. But eventually, near the end of the season, we got Eric to give some pointers as to what he would do in situations. So we had some Eric mentorship, and we do thank him for that. I think he helped them. He had some good pointers as what we're doing wrong, and it definitely helped, at least in the first few rounds of the playoffs. And I mean, across the season, I think Tom did fairly well for being primarily a defensive skater before.
Very clutch.
He actually was pretty clutch in a lot of games. We had a lot of one-goal games, so that was kind of fun. Tanks definitely developed a good amount. We had to work with him mostly. I think Tanks is really good mechanically. It was mostly mindset with him, as well as kind of when to shoot. Because even the goals he did score, sometimes he's just like almost deking himself out, and you'd kind of just not get clicked, which is a bit of a problem. So I mean, still going forward for both of them. I know I'm the opposite, and I always just shoot really fast, which is my problem. But with them, you look at someone you look at Kurt, you look at Eric, or anyone else like Prost or Watermelon, they do a really fast move and then take the shot. And sometimes Tom and Tanks would just stand there forever until the defense come back, and they're like really nice guys like that. They give us defense.
They're really nice guys.
Yeah. So, that's in terms of development. I think Eric did more of the offense, and I just set the plan for defense of what we could do. And I mean, going forward for anyone who's gonna be on a team for ZHL, it's really important to have a talk with your goalie, like I did with Reimer, about what you expect him to save and what he should expect us to save. Whether it's different goalies will have different kind of wants and needs. With us, usually we wanted Reimer to just stay still, and we'll cover the one-timer, and that way, whatever situation the skater does who receives the puck, whether they actually shoot it or they hold it and do a boost cross, we should be covered on both sides. So, it's really important for that. And I think a lot of that was the success of War Pigs because, in some situations where it looks like a mind read, it's really just Reimer basically knowing he doesn't have to move. So, a lot of that was kind of how we developed, and it worked out for the most part.
Yeah, really well said. And the core hall wall pretty much stood tall up until the very last game of the season, with the finals being mostly overtime games or one goal deficit. Do you think future teams will emulate a defensive-minded approach like the War Pigs of Season 5? Or the Tigers of Season 4?
I don't know if they'll do it to that extent. I think overall, league-wide defense, or the skill in defense was really high compared to before. So I think defense as a concept in general is definitely known that it's how you win games in the long run. I don't know if they'll take it to the level that we did. It's hard to say right now, because you can also say like we're really defensive, but we also had the players who are willing to do that. There's a lot of players that are still very unwilling to just play defense. Some people just want all the glory, so it'll be hard to actually tell them to do that. But I think part of being a really good player is actually being a two-way player, and that also goes into real sports. Like if you look at the War Pigs, we had Tom and Tanks. If we just had the same players play really defensive, but then you have someone like Watermelon and Proster going on the other end, it's going to look even better. We just didn't necessarily have as good offense, chemistry, and stuff like that to make it really excel. So I guess to answer your question, like I think defense is increasing a lot. I don't know if they'll take it to the extent that we did, because we also had like me and Tom who are pretty strong defenders. It's pretty hard to say because people are just unwilling, and it'll really depend on how people draft and the composition and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fair. And to go back to Water, in chat he said that the season 4 Shakuras were better than the Tigers defensively, which is also true. The Shakuras Inquisition, I don't know if it was that season, it might have been, where they only allowed 29 goals. There might have been a different season. I'm not entirely sure.
Is that season 4?
Yeah, I think that for record of goals, least amounts of goals allowed.
Yeah, they set the record, and then you guys beat it this season with lowest goals against.
Well, it's a bit hard to compare because there's different amount of games in the season.
No, I think it's the average, so that's per game average.
Okay.
So I think you guys beat them just barely.
Yeah, I mean that team was like really good in general. The thing is with that team, like they had Blitz, who's obviously like a really
It's okay, don't.
A really good Blitz, really good defender. But I think you also have to look at players like Watermelon. He's a top player that comes back responsibly a lot. He's also good at just maintaining possession of the puck. So the really strong chances, like 2-on-1s and stuff like that, won't really happen as much when you have someone like him on the ice. So yeah, they were a really good defensive team. They also had Goza in there. Like, funny enough, Goza was almost the weak link of that team, as funny as that sounds. That's just because the skaters are really solid. And, Water is this offensive powerhouse, but, he's actually just as good at defense, and he helps a lot, almost subtly, that you don't notice as much. And I noticed it. So that's kind of one reason why. And I'm sure I don't remember it super well, but I'm sure Art was the same way, and that's kind of the concepts that he taught for the team. So it's really a team sport overall. That if all 3 players are working to the defensive goal as well as scoring it, it's important that all 3 players are thinking about it, not just we got Guerrila. Let's just always Z forward and he'll do it, and then he gets 2-on-1 for the rest of the fucking game. It's gotten to a point where like not just one defender is sufficient if the other offensive skills are good enough.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, lots of love for Watermelon there too. Speaking of love, do you think Tom is trying to steal your girl? I know before every game, Winnie would have to message Tom. I want to talk about that a little bit.
She'd message me as well, but you never know what's going on with these people these days. I also have to watch out for the Ebola. He wants to play Portal 2 with her.
Oh wow!
I know, she's like really high demand. These Zealot hockey people.
What are are they all friends with your girlfriend on like Steam or something? Like
yeah, well I've played League with like all of them together, and I think like Left 4 Dead as well. So they.
Oh boy!
You know what? That's basically Tom being like, "Oh shit, my plan is getting revealed."
It's getting foiled.
Yeah.
I'm the same way with Taro's girlfriend. Like, I Snapchat her all the time. It's pretty funny, actually.
Ooh.
I find it hilarious. Dude, no, because like they actually Snapchatted me today, and they were actually together, which is really rare because I never see them in pictures with each other because they live like so fucking far from each other. But they're out in Vermont and it's like snowing and stuff, and it was adorable.
Yeah.
I asked him why he was giving me a post-sex selfie, and then he said pre, and then he didn't Snapchat me for the rest of the day.
Oh, Rex, yeah. That's down and dirty.
Yeah.
So, on the other end of the spectrum, is it true she bullies VJ and why?
No,
is
she
VJ,
bullies
by the
Rush.
way?
VJ is Fable.
Oh, okay.
No, the real person she bullies is Rush. It's really funny, actually. Like, she was like legitimately really scared of her whenever she was in a call, because sometimes you're playing a game, and I think it was like, because we used to play League a lot, where it'd be like me, Fable, Tom, Samdong, and her, and sometimes he'd just go on Skype and he'd want to talk to us. And the first time we were all playing League, so it was a 5-man team, and he's just there, and she was like, "What are you doing here?" And he took that very harshly. You know how Rush is.
Oh, yep. Emotional guy.
Ever since then, he every time she's in the group, he'd like join it and then just suddenly leave. So yeah, he's bullied by my girlfriend a lot. Yeah, as Slucked Up says, all girls are scary. So
yeah,
maybe that's just how Rush deals with the women in his life. I don't know. I don't know enough about him. Maybe he has a long, scary past with girls. I don't know.
Who doesn't? But anyways, back to season 5, or actually season 5, season 2, season 1, whichever you prefer. What do you think was your most memorable performance as your teammate? I remember the 2-shot shutdown of the Tigers in our first game was pretty much up there for best defensive performance I've ever been a part of. Or beating Maha in Game 5 of the semis was another highlight for me. What about you?
For this season, beating Maha in the semifinals was actually a really good moment, because it felt like we were the underdogs for that, and we were losing every West game, and then we finally got the last game, so it was kind of dramatic and all that good stuff. So that one felt really good. And I mean, there's actually one game in season 2 that felt really good. It was almost like my first experience with the bitch walk. And I remember Kurt was actually casting this game. We had an interview with him after it. It was Flyers against Marsara. The other team was Proster, Taro, Rasputin, and we were down 0-2 in the third period. And it was at a time where Stealth was getting his stealthy sense of getting pissed off, and Bulbasaur was almost at his limit. And I know Bulb scored a pretty quick one, and then I got one like right off the face-off. And that goal actually felt like one of the greatest goals I've ever scored. I remember I watched the cast of it, and I know Kurt and Country Ken went wild on that. And I think it was, and that was honestly I think the first true experience of facing a bitch walk. There's been a lot of talks of it lately this season and before, but I actually think that team was the original creators of the bitch walk. Not even Blitz. Blitz just did in the playoffs before. That's a whole nother topic anyways. But yeah, that was that. In season 2, that was the most memorable moment aside from winning. But this season it was definitely the Marsar game. Honestly, the Tigers game, I don't know, it wasn't that memorable to me.
Because you thought you'd win anyways?
There's a bit of that, and I honestly didn't even realize they're at 0 shots for so long for some reason. I honestly just did not even realize that. So I don't know. My head was in the game.
Honestly, that game, I was really nervous too, because Perplex is pretty much standing on his head that whole series. But that first game, for a long time, he was playing really well. And then I was so nervous because we only had 1 goal going into the third or something. So I really was worried that just come third period, Linking's just gonna skate up and the first shot's gonna go in, and it's gonna be really sad.
Yeah.
Would have done a full out Bernier this season. First goal. There you go. Real hockey. So season 6 you haven't signed up yet. How come? I think you've told me though.
I've been unsure if I'm gonna sign up yet. Near the end of this season I was getting kind of burned out on the game. If you talk about, I could go back to that development question.
Sure.
And the Warp Bigs were playing every single night together, pretty much. The skaters were, Reimer would be 3 times a week. Yeah. So it became quite a lot. So I might take a break off it. It's going to also depend on my work schedule, which will be released soon. as well as when exactly it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to go with that other tournament or whatever. I don't know when it starts or anything like that. Get Taro to release some information.
It's already on the forums, kid. It's like December 12th or something like that.
5th. Which, the 3K?
No, the tournament I know, like the ZHL season.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, the ZHL. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he'll announce it. Don't worry.
I don't know how that'll work.
He's in Vermont right now. I'll try to see if I can get some information.
Okay. Basically, I'm unsure if I'm going to sign up because of life. That's all.
It's a pretty good reason.
Yeah. I'm getting older. I'm already, as Kurt knows, I'm already like an old man and
hockey years.
Yeah, we do.
I'm about as you're like slightly old. You're like slightly older than me, but I'm pretty up there.
Slightly, barely.
Slightly. Yeah.
No, I understand, buddy. It is wearing. It's a long season. I mean, especially after this last season, man.
This last one was long.
So long. Like,
you had it with Rush.
Towards playoff time, like, I was just taxed, and it was bad. Man. It was just a super fucking long season, and especially once you start ramping up and practicing every night, like hardcore, like it was bad.
Yeah.
No, my wrist felt like it was like broken constantly. Well,
I'd still really like to see more of those like Winter Classic tourneys come back, where it's just one day dedicated to it.
I like the one day idea.
You don't get burnt out pretty fast. You also don't have to worry about teams like super teams being built right from the get-go. Like with the 3K, you've got Super Fruits. You got Mr. Alert Eyes, Error 404. You got the Fruit Seeds. Also, thanks for telling me when we're doing our coaching watermelon. Really, really mean of you. I just want to get a Zergling plushie. That's so much to ask.
Yeah, you guys are on the same team, right?
I don't know, Goza. Like, Goza messaged him, so I'm like, fuck, I'm cut. Yeah. I actually talked to Phil about it. Chingu.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
The worst fucking team in the world. I'm honestly going to need that coaching from Water. We are going to want to even be 8th. I'll have to stand on my head upside down and not lag at all. It's going to be great if that happens. Or I'll get to be with Gur and not do anything like I did season 5. That was great.
You did some things, friend.
You did a lot of things, buddy. You did.
Yeah, well, you guys are great. Don't play the sad music. I'm not going to talk about that final. I totally lost my thought though. But I was going to ask about the EU tournament thing. I have no idea what that's about. All I know is that TK asked me if I'd be on his team. I know he's making like a team of NA superstars with him on it, of course. Me, Gur, Eric. I think he signed us up. Like, he messaged me the day before, but Kurt, do you know anything about that? Because you're like the EU god or something.
No, it's a tournament.
The EU god, he won.
Yeah, he won.
TK asked me to be on that team too, but I declined it.
What are you? We could have had the friend,
buddy. Like,
friend.
Come on, like.
Are you serious? You just screwed yourself,
buddy. Come on, like it's an all EU. It's in an EU tournament, and it's gonna be. We're
the ultimate like anti-Beatles. Like, we're Americans,
buddy.
North Americans coming into EU to fuck their shit up.
You really think that an all NA team could be competitive? I mean, come on, buddy.
Dude, I'm actually being housed in Germany for the tournament, so taking this very seriously. Okay. Very serious. I'm actually really sad about the 3K tournament. It's on my birthday, so I can't.
Really?
I don't want to lose. December 5th is my birthday. I'll be 21. So, yeah, I can't wait to spend my birthday sitting in front of my computer. It's gonna be great. Just like, I'll have to bring my computer to Maddie's, and just, I can't. That's a great bar. Yeah, Maha's on the team too, I think.
Is he really?
Yeah.
See, like, what's the point of putting like 10 NA people like all on one team? Like, I mean, what's the point in it?
That's TK.
I don't know. I just didn't see the point. I just didn't see the point in it. I just turned it down.
But you won, so.
Buddy, come on, like
the reigning champion.
Buddy, I had the great Ted Bundy, dude. He's like people talk shit about this guy. Like, I play with some good goalies. I play with TK. I would say TK easily his best goalie that I'd played with on NA, but I honestly think Ted's better than him. No, I'm not kidding. Ted Bundy, I don't know how in the world this kid does not get rattled and he's still as productive as he is. Like, Goza probably the next best, but this kid just doesn't get rattled. I don't know how he does it. Like, he just literally gives zero fucks. I don't know how, but he still makes plays. It's incredible.
Yeah, wow, Kurt, what about your friend Country Ken?
Ken's great.
Yeah.
No, Ken was easily the
My
best.
prodigy.
Well, buddy, I gotta say TK's just more consistent than Ken is. Plus, TK can play a dual server. Ken is absolutely garbage on East because he lives up in the fucking mountains in Seattle. So, plus TK's a better passer than him too. So, Ted's the worst fucking passer ever though. So TK's got him on that.
Better or worse than Reimer?
No, he's worse
Is that
than Reimer.
possible?
No, he's worse than
Is
Reimer.
that
No,
sure?
seriously. It got so bad that if you ever watch the EU finals, I literally had to stand still as a defender, and he would still miss me sometimes.
I know that feel.
Like, literally, I'm like, okay, just dump it to me. Don't try to pass downfield. Just dump it to me. I'm standing still, and he'd still miss me occasionally. So it got pretty bad.
I mean,
but.
I know Reimer passed it to you when you're on the other team.
That was fun.
So, everyone does that. Everyone always passes the Kurt.
That was a really silly game. That was, I think it was 4-4.
Oh, yeah.
Our
Oh,
team,
yeah.
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 Game.
When I actually.
And that was a West too, and I was like, half the time I was getting really lucky. The other half the time I was just playing really bad, and I would dash the wrong way, and that's where you were shooting, and I'm just like, yeah, get fucked, kid. It was really silly. Good times. I wish I got to play the other game, but I didn't get to because I was at a birthday thing.
Yeah.
And we lost because of Rush. Rush doing his patented cross post.
God, prestige that kid. That was pretty funny. That was a pretty funny moment. Come on.
That was really sad.
Rush is a very interesting personality. Okay.
It's hard to like Rush. It's okay.
Jesus.
He
It's
does. Okay. You were season 1. You were an owner, not by choice, but you were appointed it. Season 2. You were an owner. You chose to be. Season 4. You were. I don't know how involved you were with that team, but season 5 you were based.
I was not very involved in season 4.
Season 5 we were given appointments. Rush is saying, "Wow, friend, right in the feels." I'm sorry, friend. You're great. Season 5, you were pretty much owner with Tom, except you just weren't labeled as such.
That was a pretty ideal thing. Like, I'd help Tom make strategic decisions for how we were gonna play lineups, but then he'd take all responsibility for any of the shit that would be as a result.
That's great.
So it was pretty cool. Basically dealt with all the owner stuff that I don't want to deal with.
So would you be an owner again if you did sign up for season 6? Would you?
I would not sign up as an owner again. When I was an owner, I mean, what would make me if I had more time to do it? Like, when I was an owner before, I took it pretty seriously. I had a lot more time because I was my last year at university, so I had more time to just I would just join pubs and see who was good, or just to play games in general. And so I'd kind of want to do that again to get the late picks. So I don't really want to do it. I don't really want to deal with managing kids again. Honestly, in that season I didn't have to manage them that much, even though they were pretty young. I think Bulbasaur was 12 or 13 back then.
Oh my fucking.
But he actually honestly Bulb didn't really act like it to me. Yeah, and Gozo actually wasn't that bad. You just have to promise him that you're gonna give him some sort of dirty photo and he'll listen to you.
Oh fuck.
You don't know why. It's very easy to use Google. But
Oh boy.
gotta find what motivates them, whatever it is. Kind of reminds me of Dragon Ball Z, where you have to find something that would motivate his master or something like that. Anyway,
Okay,
yeah. But no, I wouldn't want to be owner again.
Oh,
So, I don't know.
that sucks. That would have been really cool for the Flyers to get another championship.
Please.
But let's move away from that. Let's move back into the warp zone. Season 1, casting wasn't really a thing. Wildfire kind of did it, where he'd just say everyone else was bad in the lobby or whoever was in the call with him on TeamSpeak. But it really overlays and everything kind of started with you or got popular with you and your Go Bananas overlays, which I don't know who made them, but they were great.
Those were the best.
Some guy made them. I wonder who.
I don't know, but he was very silly. Did you realize the impact of casting CHL games back in season 1?
I mean, are you implying that I like inspired everyone to cast?
Yeah, this is
really...
revisionist history, so yeah, it's all you, man.
I mean, I don't really think I just kind of, I just had the internet to do it. I don't really think I'm a very good caster. I don't necessarily have the personality, which is kind of like the energy for it. That's why my style was as it is, like really laid back. It's kind of how I am in real life. So I don't know. It was just kind of like I remember watching a lot of like real regular StarCraft tournaments, and it's like, well, I mean, this should be streamed. I like watching it streamed. Like, it's kind of when you're not people playing, it's like, why do I care about this league at all if I can't see the games? And
right,
you know, it creates excitement. And like when you think back now, like it's so stupid if a game isn't streamed, right? So
yeah.
You know, I don't think my casting style was really bad. I think, I mean, some people liked it just because, you know, it was kind of silly, but I think more people like the regulars, like the style it is now, looking hard, looking deep, and using wisdom.
Looking hard, looking deep. Reimer, looking hard, coming deep.
Coming hard.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, guys.
That was really interesting. No, I really like Halo. He's really gotten better, and like he's owned his funny like gimmick, and it's a nice change of pace. Now Goza says in chat, he brings up Kyle, and I remember when he first started, you were not his biggest fan, not to air dirty laundry, but you said he seemed a little bit robotic in his play-by-play style, and that's kind of become the normal for casters like Kurt, Moose. They kind of emulate that.
Yeah.
What do you think of it now? Do you think it's grown on you, or is it still kind of grainy to hear?
I mean that opinion, it was my opinion, and still somewhat like that. It was still good. Like it's entertaining enough. I guess I kind of had my kind of humorous style, or I guess our humorous style, because when I used to watch YouTube videos of StarCraft cast and stuff like that, I was a big fan of a Lag TV. I don't know if anyone knows that.
Maximus Black.
Maximus Black and Nova War. I was a big fan of them, and if anyone who doesn't know that, they're just really silly. They just have like gone random tangents, and it entertained me a lot. So I kind of emulated that to an extent. Nowhere near as good as them, but it's kind of how I always kind of thought that, you know, people can see what's happening. Do I need to tell them exactly what's happening? But I mean, it creates more excitement that way. But that's just kind of my views on it. So I mean, it's fine how it is. Just how I knew that I would be able to do it, I wouldn't be able to do that. I just don't have the will to do it.
Would you cast though, if given the opportunity, for future maybe season 6 that opens up? Taro said he probably would. Bruce said he'd love to. We're just adding people to the show list, basically.
I think my casting career is pretty over at this point.
It's never too late, Rennie. It's never too late.
It would have to be very emergency, and I don't know. I'd say probably not.
Well, that was a coin flip of an answer.
Damn.
Okay. I don't think many people cared to have me that back. I think very few amount of people would actually remember that I actually did cast, because it was really, really far away ago. So
I missed y'all's casting, man. I was on the same boat as Guerrila at one point, where I honestly didn't like the play-by-play because it just seems so obvious because it's happening. But
yeah,
I thought it was a lot more fun to have people just talking shit the entire time. It's a lot more entertaining to me, but
yeah, I mean, maybe some people like it, you know, maybe do like kind of some people have their style, not, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I really liked the Country Ken as a color caster. He was really good. For some reason, he'd always have like these really small statements to make, but they're always like really good. way he'd phrase it and how he would say it was always really good. So that aspect of the whole play-by-play, and then with him as like some sort of analysis, was really cool.
Ken's just funny as shit, man. I mean, in real life and on the line, he's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He's
He's just a people person.
He is.
He's a bartender, so kind of.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, he works construction now. He actually does like heavy equipment and machinery.
Oh, cool. It's like Bob the Builder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, my last question that I have written down, because I actually got rid of a lot of them, because we are already almost at 2
We're almost
hours.
at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you had like a million questions.
Yeah, it's like how to become a millionaire, but
you know,
no
when
one
you're
wins.
interviewing your best friend, you know, you gotta make sure you ask him all the questions.
I'm interviewing my best friend with my best friend. How crazy is that?
Oh.
Yeah,
Buddy,
and-
we all know that the Guerrilla Reimer love train is just, there is no end to it. Okay, everyone knows.
There's
Yeah.
no end, no beginning.
Fuck Mary Reimer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's gonna be a wild every night. When are we going to Maddie's? That needs to be the next question. Okay. Only play Zealot hockey? Or, well, actually, you kind of already said you're burnt out. Only play Zealot hockey or league? So only play Zealot hockey, or you have to play Teemo in league every game?
Play Teemo. Oh god.
Captain Teemo reporting for duty.
I'd probably pick league at this point, but it depends on, is this like a completely forever or like for a year or something? If it's like a time period, I could definitely
Do like a
come back.
season. Yeah, do
But-
like a season, I guess.
First season, like that's very easy. I'd definitely go league.
Okay, guys. Well, there you have it. He does not care about this community at all. Way to go, buddy. Way to go. This is your chance to ask the great Guerrila, 3-time defender of the season, 1-time all-star goalie, full-time friend. Any questions you
Full-time
have
friend.
about a sex tape or anything you want?
Very elusive sex tape. Wow.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about that.
Ghost is giving me great insight. What's your goal?
Oh god. Ask Peter. He already knows it.
Yeah, he knows everything.
Where's
Where's
my
your tape?
tape?
What tape, friend?
What's your favorite cereal, Guerrilla?
Probably multi-grain Cheerios.
Fucking
These
basic.
questions.
Yeah.
I've given up the sugary cereals.
Oh, you have? Really? Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
shame.
Oh, whoa, crazy with the big shot of BM to the arm. If you don't sign up season 6, do you think Blitzerk will finally get something to brag about at the end of the season? Didn't he win season 4?
He won the trophy, but I think he means the award for defense.
I guess so.
I mean, do you think Blitzer will finally get? I mean, he would be the obvious front runner. If he doesn't win it, he'd probably become the saltiest you've ever seen him,
Oh,
and that's saying something.
Yeah, dude. After playing
So-
that guy in Strikers, he can get pretty salty.
So I feel like, I mean, he'd get really salty. I don't know. Maybe someone will rise up and take it. I don't know.
Money, next up and comer. You never know, man.
if an ambulance is... You just have to answer yes or no to this, okay? If an ambulance is on the way to save someone and it runs over someone else, does it stop to help them?
What?
That's quality phenomenal content.
I will say it should stop. You said it's a yes or no.
Yeah.
Does it stop to help them? Yes, it'll stop to help them. What
That's
the
nice.
fuck kind of question is this?
Hey Rennie, who's your favorite porn star? Coming from big fan Winnykins.
Oh boy, I don't know why you would type that. Goes this probably all over your profile right now. It's only a Twitch thing. Porn star. I kind of figured this guy should come up. Had to do some research. Not really.
I'll do some research.
No, I feel like I have to go with the basic answer of Asa Akira.
Who?
Oh,
You don't know who that is? Asian. Just
Oh.
Asa.
That's fine.
And, you know, it's pretty hot. Asian. That's all. She actually is in a wide variety of videos. Kind of surprised me.
Is your girlfriend Asian?
Yes.
No, okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, she is Asian, very Asian.
She is Asian, very Asian.
What else do we have?
Also from Crazy, do you think they will catch the Mexican drug lord that escaped prison? You didn't hear about El Chapi or whatever?
El Chapo?
El Chapo that escaped prison?
I have not. Will they catch him? I don't know.
He's like a Mexican drug lord that escaped prison, and he's done this like twice before, and he's on the run now. And he's like live tweeting about it, too. You hear about that? Like he's tweeting the authorities, essentially?
Oh, wow.
No, I haven't. I've been following up the news. I don't know. Will they catch him? I have no idea. Maybe. Perhaps.
I thought we were talking about Rush.
Anything with hockey and Mexican, my first thought is Kevin Rush. Yeah, except he doesn't like guacamole or avocados or something, so only so Mexican.
Next question from Crazy. Well, this is kind of a variation of it. Who are you voting for in the election, if you haven't already?
Probably liberals. I don't know the name of the person in my writing. Kurt's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
Yeah.
Damn
basically Canadian
Canadians.
Politics.
Yeah. Are resistance bans actually effective? Kurt, why don't you take this one?
Who am I voting for? Well, I'm not.
No, well, not that one. Whatever, it's okay.
What question am I voting for?
Yeah, who are you voting for? Are you voting for Donald Trump?
Oh, God. I don't know. I'll probably
Yeah,
Bernie Sanders. I could feel the burn. I don't know. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
It's not like my vote's gonna matter. True
Gert,
words.
Gert, can you show us your six-pack?
No. What the fuck? Why?
Vote Zots
no.
2016.
Zots?
I saw like a picture one time where it was like the liberals say this, the conservatives say this, but Odin said that he would kill all the ice giants. Do you see any ice giants? Vote Odin 2016.
Very silly.
Man,
How much could you bench?
This goes as having a fucking...
He's
Goes
just
you know he's touching himself while he's typing this. Like you just
Yeah.
know it. Like
He's making his own sex tape.
Oh boy, and he's like 6.
He's like 6.
What's your favorite Canadian television show?
I mean, I don't really watch any... I don't know if Canadian... I'll just say it was like Corner Gas, probably.
Yeah. What about the Red and Green show? Do you remember that?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, forget it. Whatever. What about Ivana the Yukon?
That was pretty good. That was a quality show when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Kurt is again being like, "What is this shit?" I don't think. Yeah, that would definitely have to be a Canadian show, I guess. It was like this French guy, and he's always in his underwear. Cartoon.
He was frozen also for like a century. Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Really good intro song though.
Yeah,
Why was the
Ivana the Yukon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do these guys have?
I'll let you read them. I don't really want to read that one.
There's a lot of. Oh, apparently Goza already winked today. Is that what you meant? That's not a question though. How big is the biggest banana you ever ate?
that's for Goza.
In inches. Really meant. Who's your favorite hockey team? I mean, I kind of have to say Toronto Maple Leafs, but I don't really watch hockey that much ever since they had a rough patch.
Dude, my Stars, man, they're starting red hot. They're like 4-1. Let's go, baby.
Right now in Toronto, the whole craze is baseball. Although
Yeah.
been doing that well in this series, but
Lame.
yeah. What's the lower bound of dicks you would suck? What does that even mean?
I was thinking that too. I was reading that. Not
Honestly,
really
what
sure.
does that mean?
We should have had a limit on how
I
many
guess the
questions
number?
per person.
Who's your favorite NHL skater? I don't even know. I don't really have a favorite right now.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're at the 2-hour mark. I think it's time
We
to
are
start
at
wrapping it up.
I think it is time
It's
to
very
wrap it up.
exhausting.
It is. It is.
Everyone wants
Yeah.
my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're very
Not
popular.
really.
So
No,
why
it's
don't
like
you
the
give
same
us?
like 3 people.
Yeah. Okay. So, who are your shoutouts and who your family, your friends, your girlfriends?
I'm sorry, I just had to scum.
Don't answer that, please.
I don't even know. Anyway, you said, what did you say, Reimer?
Just, shoutouts.
Shoutouts. Shout out to. Oh god. Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend. Somehow is still fucking watching this. I don't know how. Probably studying and half listening. Well, shout out to the War Pigs of season 5. Almost got it. Not quite. It was a fun season.
It's better than getting reapered. That's what Rush said when we lost. Yeah. He said, "Dude, it's a great season. It's a hell of a lot better than being reapered." Amen to that, brother.
Yeah, I mean, we honestly did so much better than I thought we ever would. Off the draft, I thought the team was gonna have a hard time making the playoffs. I think a lot of people also thought that. Fucking Goza. Anyway, shout out to them. Shout out to both of you guys for hosting this great show. I'm sure lots of people like it. It's pretty good for the community. I think I originally started doing interviews because I thought it's really cool to kind of get the personalities of the players. Don't really get someone's true personality from just playing games. You have to kind of talk to them. So this is a good platform for it. So thanks for putting on this great show. Also have to thank the sponsors, of course. 2 Cows, Babies R Us, Code Red, or Mountain Dew Code Red, Doritos. Yeah, just that's pretty much it for me.
That's great. For me, a shout out to my girlfriend who I think watched this whole 2-hour block. I think she also watched the last one too. She let me know that her sister walked in on her watching the Twitch stream as if it was something really embarrassing, which is really awkward. It's great. Something to be proud of. Shouts to
you guys circle jerk each other. Sure.
Oh yeah. The War Pigs this season were so good. Oh. Shoutouts to Watermelon for never training me. That was helpful. Shoutouts to Kurt always for coming and helping with the show. Coming hard, looking deep, really helps. Shout out to Gur for coming on the show. I usually talk to him for hours on end without actually streaming it, so this is great. Shoutouts to Pro V Seals. He asked for this and he deserves it. Shout out to Tanks for all the great questions. Crazy, Fable, Goza, everyone in chat. Shout out to Professor X for being a great guy. Shout out to me for being me. Shout out to our sponsors. Shout outs to shout outs, because who doesn't love shout outs? And the last shout out has to be to Cups for keeping Gur hydrated, because my stream's delayed and I just saw that. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's everything for me. My room's so fucking hot. I can't do this. I can't do this show for much longer here. We need a host. We need a casting couch.
Need a studio?
Yeah, we need a studio.
Dude, we can do a live Rhyme time. I'll go to Canada, I'm sure, one of these days, and we can do live Rhyme time.
Yeah, straight out of Fable's house or something. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd work.
That'd be great. Kurt, how about you? Shoutouts and closing?
I got a shout out to Sesame Street because Tank said shouts to them, so shouts to Sesame Street and for growth charts.
Yes,
because
for growing,
growth.
Of course.
Shout outs to I wanted to give a shout out to Nucleus of Amoebas because they need some shout outs and some love. I want to give a shout out to Indianapolis Colts, who hopefully, they're not getting wrecked by the Pats just yet. So that's really good. Let's see, I had nobody to thank. Shouts to you two, lovely gentlemen, for spending 2 hours with me.
That's a pleasure.
And shout out to the fans for showing up, and for everybody that signed up for season 6. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's gonna be a fun one. That's all I got. I'm really tired, man. I'm tired and
I'm pretty
hungry.
Tired.
Man.
My dad asked me to walk my dog an hour ago, so I hope my downstairs is still. So why don't we close the show?
You ready? You guys ready for the ending?
Always ready, Malone.
Alrighty. We'll see you on the other side.